Welcome to josephsmithspolygamy.org, the audio version. Maria Lawrence sailed May 1843. Maria Lawrence was born to Edward and Margaret Lawrence in Pickering, Canada on December 18, 1823. Her sister Sarah was born 2.5 years later on May 13, 1826. The family was converted in 1837 in Canada and moved to Nauvoo in 1840. Joseph Smith was appointed guardian for the family after Edward died in March, and the Lawrence sisters went to live with the Smith family. 3 years later, in May of 1843, Emma Smith facilitated Joseph's marriages to 4 plural wives, including Sarah and Maria Lawrence and Eliza and Emily Partridge. Lavina Smith Walker, daughter of Hiram Smith, signed a statement on June 16, 1869. I was living with Aunt Emma Smith in Fulton County, Illinois, in the year 1846, that she told me that she, Emma Smith, was present and witnessed the marrying or sealing of Eliza Partridge, Emily Partridge, Maria Lawrence, and Sarah Lawrence to her husband, Joseph Smith, and that she gave her consent thereto. Emily Partridge testified that Emma took her hand and placed it in Joseph Smith's hand. Emma had consented to give Joseph 2 wives if he would let her choose them for him, and as she chose Eliza and myself for the ceremony was done, in her presence on the 11th of May, 1843. She afterwards gave Sarah and Marie Lawrence to him, and they lived in the house as his wives. I knew this. Since Joseph Smith served as Maria and Sarah's legal guardian, he has been criticized for being sealed to them. The assumption is that he exercised improper influence to coerce them into their plural marriages. Arguing against this assumption is the fact that Emma Smith facilitated those marriages, even if she afterwards regretted it. William Law recalled, Emma complained about Joseph's living with the Lawrence girls, but not very violently. It seems less likely that Emma would have assisted if she viewed Joseph's aims as improper. Benjamin F. Johnson remembered, I do know that at his, Joseph Smith's mansion home, was living Maria and Sarah Lawrence and one of Cornelius P. Lott's daughters as his plural wives, with the full knowledge of his wife Emma of their married relations to him. While Maria died before the saints left Nauvoo, her sister Sarah did not pass away until 1872. Helen Mar Kimball remembered that during Sarah's last visit to Salt Lake, she denied emphatically ever being connected to Joseph. Nevertheless, neither she nor her sister left any accusations against Joseph. It seems that if Sarah felt that she had been manipulated or deceived by the prophet, she might have voiced an accusation in her later years or disparaged him to the anti-Mormon audiences in Salt Lake City. The Lawrence estate. A second criticism regarding Joseph Smith and the Lawrence sisters stems from his purported mismanagement of the estate, with accusations that he stole money from it. These allegations arise from an 1887 statement made by William Law when interviewed by expose author William Weil. Soon after my arrival in Nauvoo, the 2 Lawrence girls came to the Holy City, 2 very young girls, 15 to 17 years of age. They had been converted in Canada, were orphans, and worth about $8,000 in English gold. Joseph got to be appointed their guardian, probably with the help of Dr. Bennett. He naturally put the gold in his pocket and had the girls sealed to him. After Joseph's death, A.W. Babbitt became guardian of the 2 girls. He asked Emma for a settlement about the $8,000. Emma said she had nothing to do with her husband's debts. Now Babbitt asked for the books, and she gave them to him. Babbitt found that Joseph had counted an expense of about $3,000 for board and clothing of the girls. Now Babbitt wanted the $5,000 that was to be paid. Babbitt, who was a straight, good, honest, sincere man, set about to find out property to pay the $5,000 with. He could find none. Some authors have taken this account at face value. However, Eldia's attorney and researcher Gordon Madsen reviewed surrounding documents and concluded that most of Law's claims are 180 degrees off. Further research demonstrates the propriety of the prophet's financial decisions as guardian. The inheritance was not $8,000 in English gold, but a farm in Lima, Illinois, possibly worth $1,000, and a promissory note for $3,000 if repaid in full. Even at its most generous valuation, it was half of Law's claimed value. Neither did the prophet enrich himself by taking money from the estate. Unlike Josiah Butterfield, who built the Lawrence estate for boarding Edward's 3 youngest children, Joseph made no claim against the estate for boarding or supporting Sarah and Maria. Furthermore, Joseph was entitled by statute to make a claim of 6% as compensation for acting as the children's guardian, but he never did. Madsen concludes, contrary to the negative picture painted by the William Law Weil interview, the record shows that he, Joseph Smith, performed his duty honorably. 3 statements indicate that the plural marriages between Joseph Smith and Sarah and Maria Lawrence may have been consummated. Lucy Walker acknowledged in 1887, I am also able to testify that Emma Smith, the prophet's first wife, gave her consent to the marriage of at least 4 other girls, Emily and Eliza Partridge, and Maria and Sarah Lawrence, to her husband, and that she was well aware that he associated with them as wives, within the meaning of all the word implies. Benjamin F. Johnson wrote in 1904, I do know that at his, Joseph Smith's mansion home, was living Maria and Sarah Lawrence and one of Cornelius P. Lott's daughters as his plural wives, with the full knowledge of his wife Emma of their married relations to him. The case of Maria Lawrence is strengthened because William Law charged the prophet with living in an open state of adultery with her from October 12, 1843 to May 23, 1844. Concerning Maria Lawrence's 1847 death, Mary B. Smith, daughter of the prophet's brother Samuel, wrote in 1911, there was a mystery about Maria Lawrence. The Lawrences lived just across the street from us. Maria Lawrence died of consumption, or one might more truthfully put it, of a broken heart. My Aunt Lucy visited her and felt great sympathy for her. She said to Aunt at one time that if there was any truth in Mormonism, she would be saved for, she said. My yoke has not been easy, nor my burden light. As to what was the cause of Maria's deep sorrow, I do not exactly know. I have reason to believe that she was one of Almon Babbitt's wives after Joseph's death, and her heartbreak was as likely to be occasioned by him as anyone else.